Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wa sallallahu wa sallam wa barak ala nabina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and good morning, brothers and sisters, Instagram fam, friends and followers of as-Saafiy, and welcome to another installment in our running series Revert Reflections and the continuation of our discussion on what sets Islam apart from other faiths. So this is a topic that we have been spending the last few weeks on. Actually, last 2 weeks, we've discussed it in some detail. And we'll continue to discuss it because of its importance and because there are still quite a few elements of Islam that distinguish it and make it unique from other faiths. And so, continuing in that vein today, what sets Islam apart from other faiths? Before I get into the example that I wanted to mention today, I just want to remind myself and you that this is an important topic. And the reason why it's important is because when we fail to differentiate and distinguish our faith and our practice of that faith, the beliefs that we hold and the ritual practices that we observe, as well as the way that we comport ourselves with our spirituality in mind, if we don't differentiate and distinguish ourselves from the people of other faiths, and we incorporate elements of the faiths of others, then we are, one, departing from Allah's mandate. Allah mandated in the Quran for the believers to say, and not to just say it, but to embody the statement, Lakum dinukum waliya din. You have your religion and I have mine. We're supposed to not just say that with our tongues, but our actions are supposed to reflect that belief and that assertion. The second reason why this is important, brothers and sisters, is because if we do not differentiate and distinguish our faith from the faith of others, then we are not fully and completely entering into Islam. We are not fully and completely Muslim. We are Muslim and partially something else, partially Christian, partially Jewish, partially atheist, partially Hindu, etc. If we borrow elements from these other faiths, then we have actually become part Muslim and part whatever else we're incorporating. And Allah tells us in the Quran not to do this, not to be partially Muslim, but He says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu udkhulu fis-silmi kafa. Oh, you who believe, enter into Islam completely. And last but not least, from the factors that makes this a very important topic, brothers and sisters, is that if we borrow elements from other faiths and we become partially Muslim and partially something else, then the quality of our Islam, the quality of our Islam will be adversely affected. If we're only practicing some of Islam, then obviously we're not going to be as good. The quality of our Islam and the type of Muslims we're going to be is not going to be as good as if we had incorporated all the elements of Islam, entered in Islam completely as instructed by Allah. And so obviously if we're trying to do the Muslim thing and trying to be better Muslims and to improve ourselves, one of the things that we need to do is take a step back, do some deep introspection of ourselves, and look and identify the elements of other faiths that we have incorporated into our faith and start to remove those and purify our faith from those elements. That said, the issue that I wanted to talk about for the next few days is the concept of, or the Islamic perspective on a concept commonly espoused in other faiths. So there's a concept commonly espoused in other faiths. What does Islam say about that? That's what I want to talk about, because unfortunately this concept has found its way into the statements, into the beliefs, into the practices of many Muslims, and it is adversely affecting their faith and practice. And that is the concept of religious relativism. Religious relativism. And what is religious relativism? Well, first of all, brothers and sisters, relativism is the doctrine that knowledge, truth, morality exist in relation to culture, society, or historical context, and are not absolute. In other words, what is true differs from time to time, from place to place, and from people to people. That's the concept of relativism. That basically what is moral differs from person to person. What is moral differs from time to time, and it differs from place to place. And it's not something absolute. You can't say that being straight is absolutely moral. It may have been moral at one point in time. It may be moral in certain places. It may be moral among certain people, but it's not absolutely moral. And if people choose to follow or to adopt alternative lifestyles, you can't say that it's wrong, because truth, morality, they're relative. And religious relativism is basically, it argues that at least one, and probably more than one, world religion is correct. And that the correctness of a religion is relative to the worldview of its community of adherents. In other words, what is right for some in terms of religion is not right for all. Religion is not a one-size-fits-all, but rather what is right in terms of religion for some people may not be right for other people. What is true for some may not be true for others. Believing in Christianity is right for those who believe in it. Believing in Islam is right for those who believe in it. And neither of the two is right or wrong absolutely. Brothers and sisters, this is the concept that we want to look at under the microscope in light of Islamic teachings this week, inshallah ta'ala. I just wanted to present it to you. I wanted us to understand the concept that we're going to be addressing. And inshallah ta'ala, in the coming days, we're going to look at the concept of religious relativism in light of Islam, through the lens of Islam, from the Islamic perspective, and see what does Islam say about religious relativism, and is it permissible for a Muslim to adopt this theory that truth in religion, or religion itself, is relative and truth is relative, and we could be right, but we also could be wrong. Is it right for Muslims to adopt that vis-a-vis other faiths, or within their own faith and the different schools of thought within our own faith? We'll look at that more closely in the coming days, inshallah ta'ala. Until then, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless your houses, bless your spouses, bless your income, bless your children, bless you and make you blessed wherever you may be. هذا وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.